Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jer and I am a licensed real estate agent in Alabama and Georgia. But today I wanted to share my story about how I was able to purchase my first house when I was 24 years old. I only had one line of credit. I didn't have to make a down payment, and I want to share my story with other people so that they will have inspiration to purchase their own home and know that no matter where you are in your journey, it is 100% possible for you. When I was in college around 2016, one of my favorite YouTubers, Ashley Empowers, made a video about how her and her husband were able to purchase a home, and they were so young, like they were only a few years older than me. And I remember thinking like, wow, like I've always been interested in real estate. I've always wanted to own my own home, but I thought that I had to be a lot older. I thought that I had to be established in my career. I thought I had to have all these other things in place, but one of the things that she said in her video is that it is possible and to just try it and see how much you get approved for. So at the time I was still in college, but I would always look on Zillow and look at the different houses that were available in different areas. And once I graduated college in 2017, I started my first big girl job, and on the day that I got my first paycheck, I went to the bank and I opened up a separate savings account just for buying my own home. I did not have a debit card linked to this account, and I knew that by doing that it would be harder for me to transfer money back and forth. So if you are thinking about purchasing a home, I would definitely recommend getting a separate savings account. That way you're not tempted to go in there, take money out, and then tell yourself that you're going to put the money back in. Just make sure that it's completely untouchable. So a few days after that, my parents sat me down and had a conversation with me, and they were saying, you know, we know that you started this new job and you're making a lot more money now than you were making at your previous job, and we know that you're responsible with your money. We know that you want to save to purchase a car, that you want to save to purchase a home. So you're more than welcome to stay here if you want to. You don't have to go out and get your own place right now, but you can stay here if you want to. We just ask that you pay your phone bill, pay for your food, that kind of thing. We're not going to charge you rent to stay here. And so I was very, very grateful for the opportunity that I could stay with my parents while I was saving in order to reach the goals that I had. And so I'm just incredibly thankful. I know that that's not everybody's story, but I'm so thankful that my parents were willing to let me stay there and not even have to pay for rent or anything. Summer 2018 rolled around and I started looking at apartments. And by this time I had already gotten a new car because my old car had been messing up, and that was one of the things that I wanted to save for, is to be able to purchase a new car and then purchase a new home. Well, time continued to pass and I was like, I'm a long ways away from purchasing a home. Maybe I should just get an apartment. So I started looking at different apartments, and I noticed that the prices were kind of steep for what I was wanting to pay. And I was like praying about it. I was like, God, please help me to be able to afford this apartment. And then I had fallen in love with this one particular apartment. Like, it was so pretty. It was like my dream apartment, and I really, really wanted to be there, but it was even more expensive than the other apartments that I was looking at. And I was praying like, God, please help me to be able to afford this apartment. I really want to be here. And then like in June 2018, I heard Steve Harvey do a speech, and he was like, why do you keep asking God to help you make your rent every month when you could be asking him for a mortgage? And I was like, you know what, like he really has a point. So I stopped. Like that day, like I stopped. I was like, I'm not asking for rent anymore. I'm asking that God will bless me with my own home and to be able to make the payments on my own mortgage. I went to Walmart and I just started buying stuff that I thought that I might need for a future home. So I bought stuff for the kitchen, I bought pots and pans, I bought silverware. Like I was just moving by faith and purchasing things that I thought that I would need for my future home, because at that point it was set in my heart that I was going to be a homeowner, that the next place I lived in was going to be my own home. So a couple months after that, in fall 2018, the same YouTuber, Ashley Empowers, that had made the video about how her and her husband purchased a home, she created this online program that was designed for women who wanted to be CEOs or high earners and still have have like a family life and still be like a family woman. So I was interested in this program. I signed up for this program, and there were so many resources. Every month she would have like a speaker come in. She would do live sessions that would teach about budgeting, saving, taxes, that would teach you about how to negotiate at your job. There were books that we read that were really helpful. There were just so many great resources in this program. I think it was like $30 something a month. So I felt like I was getting so much information. One of the most pivotal things that she did in this program was that we had an Excel spreadsheet that we shared, and everyone had a big goal that they were working towards. So everyone had their own column with their name, and so you wrote your name, and the next column you wrote what your big goal was. What was the big thing that you were trying to accomplish? And then you had a column for January, February, March, and so on. And so each month we had to write at the end of the month what we did that month in order to get closer to our ultimate goal. And so that really kept me accountable, because I was thinking to myself, you know, at the end of this month, I'm gonna have to write something in this column. I need to make sure that I'm staying on track. So I really like that, and I feel like that kept me motivated, and it really helped me to be able to reach my goal before the actual date that I wanted to reach it. So initially in fall 2018, I decided that I wanted to purchase a home by the end of 2019. And then when January came around, I said, you know what? I actually want to purchase a home before my birthday, which is in July. I told myself that my 25th birthday in 2019 was going to be a housewarming party. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what I did. So I was saving a lot of money. I decided to delete any subscriptions that I had that I wasn't using. So I deleted Netflix, Hulu, all of the stuff that I wasn't even really watching, but it was just coming out of my account every month. I was like, you know what, this is a temporary sacrifice. I want to save as much money as I can. And I took on a lot of side hustles, which resulted in me sometimes working 6 days a week or getting off from my 9 to 5 and then go into one of my side hustles. But I was saving as much money as possible. I was babysitting, I was editing manuscripts, I was doing ghost writing for people. I did like a contract job where I had to drive an hour to get there. I was doing whatever I needed to do in order to save this money. In February, when I got my tax return, I saved the entire tax return. I didn't get my nails done, I didn't get my hair done, I didn't get my eyebrows done. Like I didn't go on vacation. Like I was invited to go on trips and I had to decline because I was like, no thank you. I'm purchasing a home this year. And I just kept telling that to myself. I'm purchasing a home this year. I would just randomly tell people, yeah, like I can't go, like I'm a homeowner. Not anybody, because you have to be careful who you talk to, but like to the couple friends I had, to my family members, I would tell them, you know, no thank you, I'm a homeowner, I can't go. Like it would not have anything to do with what I was talking about, but I just wanted to keep speaking it out loud because it was building my faith. And another thing that we did in that program back in fall 2018 is we made vision boards, but we did not have any pictures on our vision boards. We only wrote at the top of our vision board, we wrote "it is finished," and then we wrote words of what we wanted to accomplish. And so every single day I would look at my board and I would say out loud what it was that I was believing for the following year. So I would say out loud that I was purchasing a home in 2019, and I did that every single day. And so it was at the top of my mind. So I was saving my money, I was speaking it, I was believing it, I was doing what I knew to do in order to purchase a home. In March 2019, I started taking classes for my real estate license. Again, like real estate was something that intrigued me. It was something that I was always interested in, and I decided to move forward with getting my real estate license. However, I wasn't able to sell myself my home because I didn't have my license yet. But there was someone that was really, really close to me. I would babysat her kids for years, and her kids were actually in the preschool classroom that I taught at when I was in college. So that's how we met. And she asked me like years prior, you know, if you ever want to purchase a home, I would love to work with you. You know, once you graduate and you're ready to purchase a home, I would love to help you find your home. And I was like, okay. And I always remembered that because I was like, by the time I graduate, I don't know if I'm going to be able to purchase a home. But, you know, look what happened. 2 years after I graduated, I purchased a home. At the end of March 2019, I went to a home buying seminar and I learned a lot of great information there. I learned about, you have to get a home inspection, you have to have earnest money, your credit score needs to be at a certain level. So I learned a lot at that home buying seminar, and they also gave us information for lenders, realtors, that kind of thing. But I already knew who I wanted to work with as a realtor. I didn't have any idea of who I wanted to work with as far as a mortgage lender. A few weeks later, in April 2019, I went to the store. I filled out a mortgage loan application, and then I went to the store and I started purchasing totes. I came back home to my parents' house and I just started packing my stuff because I was like, I'm purchasing a home this year, so I need to go ahead and start getting ready. I need to go ahead and start packing up anything that I'm not going to be using anymore. And that was just my belief. Like, I just believed that I was going to purchase a home. I had no proof. I had not been pre-approved, but I believed I was going to purchase a home. And then I ended up not going with that mortgage lender because the realtor that I work with, I spoke with her a few weeks later in May of 2019. She got me pre-approved with a different lender who I enjoyed working with a lot better. And with that program, I was not going to be required to submit a down payment. They had a 100% conventional loan, which means that they finance 100% of the loan. It's a program for first-time home buyers, and that was one of the things that really inspired me to get my real estate license so that I can share with as many people as possible all of the different resources that were available, because I had no clue about this program. And there were a couple people that were like, oh, like, is that a scam? Is there something that you have to pay on the back end? And the answer is no. It's definitely important to connect with a realtor that knows a lot about different loan programs and that can help you in your unique situation. Because one thing that I know as a realtor, what works for one buyer will not necessarily work for a different buyer, because everybody is in a different situation. So I tell people, no matter what your situation is, let's just try. Let's come up with a plan. Let's come up with a strategy to get you pre-approved. But I digress. So I get pre-approved with the lender, and they're telling me, this is going to be your monthly mortgage payment. And I'm looking at the monthly mortgage payment and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that with the income that I'm making. So I went to my boss. I had only been at this job for maybe like 8 or 9 months, something like that. But I had to do like an annual review with my boss. And the way it worked at that job, like, I was the only person in my position, and then there were other people that were in my department, like 8 or 9 other people. They were in a different position, but they were paid more than me. So I went to my boss and I asked her if one of those positions would become available soon. She said, no, not at the moment. It's a government program, so we write for that position every 2 years. And so it would be like another 1.5 years before they opened up any positions in that program. So I left it, but she did tell me that if a position came available, I would be the first to know. So I left that conversation. I went home and I was like, God, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know that you're going to bless me with this position. And I just didn't worry about it. I didn't worry about how I was going to be able to make my monthly mortgage payments. I just knew that I believed that God was going to make a way for me. Also, during this time, actually in April, I wrote down a list of everything that I wanted in my new home. I wrote that I wanted it to be fenced in. I wanted to have a garage, walk-in closet. I wanted to have big windows because I love natural sunlight. Everything that I wanted, I wrote it down and I prayed for it. I also gave it to my realtor. So my realtor was aware of what I wanted, and she would send me different houses that were in my price range. There was one house that really caught my eye, so we went to that house. It was really pretty. I liked the part of town that it was in, and when we put in an offer, it was a multiple offer situation, and my offer got accepted. And then the sellers decided that they wanted to get a new home built, and it was going to take like 6 months to build that home, and I knew that I didn't want to wait that long, so I decided to get out of that contract and just start looking for a different home. While all of this is going on, one of my co-workers who was in the position that I wanted, she resigned from the job, and then that position came available. So my boss, announced it to everyone. Then she pulled me to the side to let me know, this position is available. I know you said that you were interested in it, but I still had to apply. I still had to interview just like everyone else. So while I'm in the process of purchasing my home, I'm also in the interview process of trying to get like a promotion basically at my job, and they didn't pull any favors for me. Like, I still had to go through 2 rounds of interviewing. I still had to do a presentation just like the other people that applied for this position. So that's going on while I'm in the process of looking for a home. This other house comes on the market, and I saw the house, but I didn't like the way the kitchen looked. Like, it just looked really outdated, so I just didn't think about it. Then my realtor sent me the house, and I was like, like, I saw this house, but I don't know, I wasn't really feeling like the cosmetics of the house. But something told me to go, so I just decided that I was gonna take a look at the house. And the morning that we were gonna go look at the house, I just had this really distinct feeling to invite my parents to come with me. And so at this point, like, my parents were not going out looking at houses with me. Like, I respect their opinions and I would show them the different houses, that kind of thing, but they were not actually coming to the showings with me. And so I was like, okay, I knew at that moment that I was gonna get that house, because I just knew at the moment that I was gonna get that house. So my parents came with me. They loved the house, and I really liked the house. I liked the side of town that it was on. I liked the location that it was in. I loved that it had big windows. It had a garage. It had a walk-in closet. It was in a quiet neighborhood, but I did not like the kitchen. And my dad was like, if these cosmetic things that you're worried about are your only reservations, these are things that you can change. You can paint, you can get, we'll help you paint. You can get different appliances. Like, you can continue to make changes over time. And I was like, you know what? He's right. So, like, I prayed about it. I felt good about it, and I decided to move forward. Once again, we were in a multiple offer situation. So multiple people had submitted offers for this home, and once again, my offer was accepted. And I remember the night that it was accepted, like, it was like one of those warm summer nights, and it was just something in the air. Like, it was just excitement in the air. Like, I knew that I was making the right decision, and I was just super excited. Another thing is that I had also negotiated closing costs, but I had like a little over, I think it was like somewhere around $1,000. It may have been less than that. One issue that I ran into during this process is that I only had one line of credit, which was my car. Now, mind you, I had deleted Netflix, Hulu, all those kind of things, and the lender had asked me, like, do you have Netflix? Do you have anything that you've been paying on every single month? And I was like, well, I have my phone bill, but the thing with that is that the phone bill wasn't in my name, it was in my mom's name. I would give her cash every month for my phone bill. And so I had to go to my bank, get a letter from my bank, show that I was taking that money out. And then also, remember, I was in this program, this online program where we were working towards our goals and learning about finances. I was paying like $30 something a month for that, and they were able to use that as a line of credit. It's called a non-traditional line of credit. And I'm like, wow, like, I came into this just believing that I was gonna get a house, and I was not as prepared as I thought I was. But I believe, like, if God has something for you, then nothing can get in the way of that. I deleted my Netflix and Hulu accounts because I was trying to save money, and in the end, that actually could have helped me because it was a non-traditional line of credit. It showed that I was able to pay something consistently over 6 months. But because I was in this program, and the crazy thing is that she was changing around the program or something like that, and like right at the moment that I was purchasing my home, something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something with the program changed, and I wasn't going to be paying the $36 or however much it was a month. It was just perfect timing, and I was able to use that as a non-traditional line of credit. Also, I forgot to mention this, before I even got pre-approved, I had made like these housewarming invitations, and I wrote on them, 25th birthday party / housewarming, because that was my goal. I was like, I am purchasing a house before my birthday. I'm gonna have a housewarming / birthday party. A week before I purchased my house, I found out that I got the promotion at my job. And I was just so amazed because in April of that year, I was told that this position wouldn't even be a possibility for another year and a half. But I prayed for that, and I really believed that I was going to become a homeowner, but I knew that I was going to need extra finances. And it just so happened that this person decided to resign, and that position became available. Y'all, like the power of prayer. On July 9th, 2019, I purchased my first house. Mind you, July 2018, exactly 1 year later, I went to the store and I was buying things by faith that I would need for this future home that I had no idea when I was going to buy it. Like, everything was just coming full circle. I was able to get everything that was on my list, everything that I had prayed for, and this house was so much better than the first house that I was under contract with, because that first neighborhood was really congested and like crowded. But when I went there, I didn't realize that. But when I was in my own neighborhood, like, I just like this neighborhood better. I honestly feel like this house was picked just for me, because it was just everything that I wanted. When I moved in, like, my family helped me move in. We painted the walls. Over time, I changed the flooring. I added the stainless steel appliances. Like, I really made it my home, and I just had and still have just an overwhelming sense of gratitude for my house. Like, I would just wake up and be like, God, thank you so much for my house. I would be doing dishes. I don't even like doing dishes, and I would just express gratitude for my house. Like, it was just such a blessing for me, and it's one of my biggest faith stories. Like, the fact that I bought things for my house, not having been pre-approved, not knowing anything about what the requirements were for me to get a house. Tuesday, July 9th, 2019, a year after I purchased things for the house that I was believing for. Like, what? And so at the seminar that I went to in March of 2019, I was invited back a year later. I had gotten my real estate license, and I was asked to speak about my experience with purchasing a home, and I was able to market myself as a real estate agent. Like, everything was coming full circle. And there were people, I shared my story at my housewarming party. There were people that were at my housewarming that I have since sold houses to. There were people that were at the seminar that I was able to sell houses to. Like, it's just been a complete blessing. And now I have equity in my home, and equity is the difference between the amount you owe on your home and the value of your home. So maybe, for the sake of example, let's say you owe $100,000 on your home, and your home is valued at $200,000. So you have $100,000 equity in your home. You can use the equity if you decide to ever sell your home, or you can use the equity, you can pull the equity out of your house. Some people do that to send their kids to college. Some people do it to buy another house or to start a business. But there is so much value in owning your own home. And when you're renting, you don't have anything to show for the money that you're paying. So for the sake of an example, let's say that you're paying $1,000 every single month for rent. At the end of the year, at the end of 12 months, you've paid $12,000. After 5 years, 12,000 times 5 is $60,000. So after 5 years, you have paid $60,000, and you don't have anything to show for it because you're not investing it. You're paying for someone else's investment. And so there's really something to think about. Another thing that I love about homeownership is my monthly mortgage payment stays the same. My payment has been the same since I purchased my home 5 years ago. Now, taxes have increased, and so my mortgage payment has gone up by $30 in 5 years. But other than that, like, my actual mortgage payment is the same. The interest is the same. The only thing that has increased was my taxes. So my mortgage payment has changed by $30. Every single year, I go back to the website for that dream apartment, and I look at what the price of the apartment is, and every year the price increases. It continues to go up, it continues to increase. And with renting, your payments can change at any time. Your landlord can say, hey, I'm raising the price of the rent, and you just have to deal with it. You have to either stick with that or go to another place. And if you go to another place, they're eventually going to raise the price of the rent as well. But when you're a homeowner, you have something that is your own. You have something that's making money for you, because the value of your home is going to continue to increase. You're paying down your mortgage, and so you're creating income for yourself. You're creating equity in your home, and that equity can come in so handy when you need it. At the end of 2019, I did get my real estate license, and now I have my own home buying seminars so that I can share my story with other people, answer questions that they have about home ownership, because I just want people to know, like, if I was able to purchase a home with no credit, like all I had was my car payment, and if I was able to purchase a home, I had no credit, I had no down payment, I was 24 years old, didn't know what I was doing, never had even owned a credit card, and I was able to purchase my first home. A few months ago, I moved out of my home, and now I'm renting it out. So I went from homeowner to landlord, and I'm just amazed at how this process has unfolded. I'm very grateful, and yes, I just wanted to share my story with people before I made this video. I prayed that everyone that was supposed to watch it would watch it. So if you're believing that you're gonna get a home in 2024, I'm believing with you. If you have any questions about homeownership, please feel free to email me. Feel free to ask a question in the comments below, and the only other thing I ask you to do is please share this video, because I know there are so many people that are wanting to become homeowners. They don't know how they're going to do it, they don't know what the process is like, they're worried about interest rates. Please share this video with them. Be encouraged that you can 1000% purchase a home, no matter what your financial background is or what your credit history is. It is 100% possible. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day and that you go after everything that you desire in 2024. I'll see y'all next time.